Well, welcome back to this assignment. This is still Unit 5, but we're now in Section 4.2 where we're going to make the actual cannonballs. Now, we can't fire the cannonball, so we won't be able to see any cannonballs, but we'll at least make it so that we have the ability to for the next assignment, which we'll get into. But first, once again, at the top we have our universal variables, then we got the setup function, and then down below that we got the draw function, which with a few if statements to move and rotate the cannon. And then, of course, we have our customized functions down here below. Now, we're going to need a new function for this next assignment, and the function I'm going to be calling it is making cannon balls like this, with open and close parentheses right there. Now, if you put that line of code in and try to run it, of course, you're going to have some errors. We don't want you to have errors, and if you had any errors before you came into this assignment, you shouldn't be doing this assignment. You need to go back and find where your errors are and fix those before you do anything in this assignment. So this again is going to cause an error, but I'm going to fix it by coming down here to my customized functions, and we're going to say making the cannon balls. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to call it the function making cannon balls. Okay, with open and close parentheses. And then we got the fancy brackets right there, and I'm ready to make my cannonballs. But first, what I will need to do is at the very top, because I want this to be a universal variable, so I want to show that we're going to make the cannon balls. I think it's 2 words. Okay, so I'm going to call let the cannon balls like this. Okay, so my variable is called the cannonballs, and so I'll have to remember that when I come down to my customize function where I'm going to be making the cannonballs. So now that I have that, of course, you should run your code to make sure that you don't have any errors, not that you should, and hopefully you don't have any. But in the making the cannonballs function, I'm going to say the cannonballs are going to be a new, and this is something that we just barely learned about in this section, but we're going to make it a new group. So this, by the way, again is another line of code. Nothing should show up, but you should run the code just to make sure that it does work. Now, we don't want these to be coming out as squares. We want them to be coming out as circles, which means the cannon balls should have some kind of radius. You can also use diameter if you'd like, but I'm going to give them a radius of 9. Now again, run this code, make sure there's no errors. If there are any errors, you need to fix those errors before you move on. Now if they were to show up, of course they would, and you keep running the program, you'd find different colors. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually just going to click on the cannonballs. I double click on it, and then Control C, and then I can just do Control V so I don't have to make any mistakes typing, which of course you're probably getting a little used to, but maybe also a little sick of. I'm going to make these have a color that's black to solidify the color. They will always come out now as black. Next up, again, Control V, and let's go ahead and make them come out with a speed of, let's try 15. I think 15 is a good number to use. Okay, again, run your code, make sure there's no errors. If there are no errors, let's put the next line of code in. So next up, we're going to give them mass. And the mass that I'm going to give them is 8. Why 8? Well, we don't have anything to shoot at to test this out, but if we need to change that later on, then we can. Next up, what I would like to do is make sure that the cannonballs come out beneath the cannon. And down below here, you can see the cannon is on layer 2, so I'm going to put them beneath it on layer 1. Run the program, make sure it works, and if it does work, then we can do the next line of code, which is to give the cannonballs a life. Now remember, the program is running at 60 frames every second. So if I did a 60 number here for the life, that would mean that the cannonballs only last for 1 second. So 120 would be 2 seconds, 180 would be 3 seconds, and so forth. I'm going to go with, let's go with 480. Let's see, that should be 8 seconds. So like if you wanted 5 seconds, you'd use something like 300. Now again, you should run this code, make sure that it works. If it is working, then you have a good program. And we have a good setup for the next assignment. But as it turns out, there's nothing really to show by creating this function or running it up here inside of the right here inside the setup function, because we haven't made it possible for the user to shoot those cannonballs. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in the next assignment. But for now, of course, there's a line of code. Here's a couple other lines of code there at the top, and then here at the bottom in our customized functions, of course, we made the making cannonballs function. So if you need any of that stuff, go back in the video and pause it. If you want to see the whole thing, there's our, well, there's the top part of the code. Again, if you need to, pause it. And then this was from the draw function down. Here's a few of the customized functions. And here's the end of the code. So hopefully this helped you guys out.